Dr. Wharton, first of all, I just want to thank you so much for joining us today. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. It's great to hear. So, we just have a few questions to ask you. Before we start, can you quickly just give us some background about yourself and how you started your career?
Yeah, sure. Well, first, thanks for having me. I think it's a great thing that you're doing here with the podcast. Once again, I'm Dr. Sequoyah Wharton. I'm a digital media, journalism, visual arts teacher at Brentwood High School. I guess my journey kind of started not in education, but it was more along the lines of skills trade, where I was uh, working with unions and working with my hands, more construction demolition based. And then I always kind of wanted to chase my dream to be in education. So I changed gears and moved towards what I really love, and looking to basically empower the next generation through things like journalism and storytelling, like I do every day in my media class. Also, the arts, super important to me. I know through the arts I could reach a lot of people. I'm also working on various global perspectives, cultures. So those are some of the things that led me to here today.
Very interesting. It's awesome. So, our first question here, as a digital film, broadcast journalism, and visual arts teacher, how do you go about integrating media literacy into your teaching methods as a way to empower students in the realms of journalism and storytelling?
Definitely a great question. Media literacy is paramount in all my classes, even my visual arts classes. Some of the ways that I do it is what's called project-based learning, where you're actually getting that education through that project. That's where my students are, creating digital films and producing broadcast projects. And also it ties in with the visual arts. So first and foremost, I'm a visual arts teacher, and utilizing that creativity in media space is super important. It's my students' opportunity to learn and grow through, like I said, the projects, but they get to be creative. They don't feel tied down by curriculum and having to follow it strictly. And I guess utilizing some of the skills you learn in media literacy is telling a story, right? What's better than that? It's your own story, and you're hoping to tell it the best you can. So, it's important. Our society is moving towards uh, more and more digital things. A lot of things now that is on top of everybody's mind is AI and how it's going to stop us from being in media education. But we need to use it as a strength as opposed to a hindrance on our education.
So, your interest in reporting on indigenous communities and their sustainable practices is very commendable. How do you go about incorporating these real world examples into your curriculum as a means of providing students with a more global perspective on culture, the environment, and traditional knowledge?
Once again, it's another great question. Culture and environmental concerns, indigenous communities are our main focus throughout my curriculum, throughout the school year. In the beginning of the year, when I meet my students, I get to let them know who I am through some of my global travels. This summer, I was in Indonesia and spent a lot of time in a lot of rural parts of Indonesia, and learn about their culture through their education. And these opportunities allow me to get to learn my students and share some of my experiences outside of the US or outside the immediate community. And I feel not only does this get to be a time where students get to learn about me, but they also get to learn about others from around the world. In high school, it is so important to uh, to open up your eyes, to learn about other cultures through various experiences. And you know, we're very fortunate nowadays where we can look on a computer or we can look on our cell phones to look at other places around the world. However, that intimate knowledge that you learn from speaking to somebody, you know, or understanding their culture from that person, or being in their area where they live, is even more important. You know, seeing a picture, seeing a video can only get you so far if you don't honestly touch the culture, or walk outside your own immediate community. So fostering, you know, like an appreciation for diverse ways of life is paramount in my curriculum.
So, given your commitment to fostering critical thinking and creativity, what challenges do you see students facing in the digital age, particularly concerning mental health issues that are related to their engagement with social media? And how do you address these challenges to nurture their skills and perspectives?
Well, you keep coming with some really great questions, you know. God, wow. So challenges and solutions, you know, and I guess it includes a lot of mental health. You know, the digital age, you know, I don't know. Many people are stuck on the idea of AI, right? And it's going to take our jobs. You know, there's a lot of mental health challenges surrounding that. Uh, you know, but just like anything with mental health, you know, life in some ways is very cyclical, where this type of feeling regarding the digital age and media in general uh started maybe around like the Guggenheim Press. Have you ever heard of the Guggenheim Press?
I don't think
So
so, actually.
no, so the Guggenheim Press is the first. Well, anybody here have ever heard of Guggenheim Press? So that's our first intimate moment where we were able to mass produce media. Okay, so Guggenheim was the individual who invented it, and that was the printing press. So Guggenheim was the individual who created that, and at that time, you know, maybe literacy rates weren't as high, but it changed literacy rates. So the digital age has its pros and cons, as we know. But you know, I feel that we could still use its strengths to, you know, emphasize and encourage, you know, critical thinking and open discussions, right? And also, you know, we need to think about balancing creativity with mindfulness. You know, so I always revert back to visual arts, which is my personal strength, where, you know, I always like to be creative and mindful, you know, and use it to nurture the skills of my students. So that's the way I try to uh, use what we have currently in the best possible manner.
So, you mentioned Malala Yousafzai as a dream interviewee due to her advocacy for girls' education. How can educators draw inspiration from Malala's experiences and activism to promote educational equity and access, particularly for marginalized students?
So yeah, she's definitely an inspirational individual. I'm not sure how familiar you are with her, other than noticing, but she you know, noticing some of her background or having a chance to Google it. uh I'm not going to go into her whole story, but what really attracted me to what she's doing, her advocacy for girls education, really highlights, you know, her personal importance of perseverance. You know, her story is so amazing, where she is now, considering the challenges she had to be where she is. um you know, the culture that she comes from is very diminutive of women in general, or at least the area where she was involved. And I personally appreciate an individual as strong as she currently is, and working to um, encourage other girls to do as she has done, to speak up for themselves, to come up with strategies to, I guess, overcome barriers. And these are some of the things that I continually do in my curriculum, is incorporate such themes. She teaches young women to be inspired, and be advocates for change. And these are some of the things that I feel a strong media can do, is advocate for change that needs to happen.
Certainly is very admirable, the ambition there. Really great. So next we have a few questions that surround our organization, TMN. Given your extensive experience in community engagement and education entrepreneurship, how do you perceive the importance of initiatives like Teens Media Network, which aim to empower young people by transforming them into innovative leaders and digital storytellers?
Well, I mean, the empowerment is the strong word there, right? Empowering young teens to play a crucial role in transforming lives, right? To become innovative leaders, digital storytellers, I guess, is the key term right there, right? Um, in my classroom, we'll record something, and there's some things missing usually when you start in the beginning of the year. We talk about A roll and B roll, right? So once we get past the A roll, what are we going to do to supplement information to tell that story, right? For instance, if I'm bringing up some sort of important information right now, whatever it is I'm saying, how can we back that up by putting some important B-roll to really show the story, right? To understand what's going on, to capture our viewer, right? It's important to tell your story, right? To foster that creativity, to have teens understand that collaboration is key to these things, leadership skills. These are all the things that I believe you're working towards now. So that's what empowerment through your platform here is so important. Like I said, expression, creativity, collaboration, leadership skills. Those are the things that are so paramount or empowering through your network.
Really great to hear your feedback on that. Thank you. So TMN is founded on the principles of fostering compassionate youth conversations, cultivating creative collaboration, and amplifying youth voices. From your perspective, how can platforms like TMN contribute to addressing the various challenges that are faced by young people and breaking down barriers to creative collaboration?
Um, uh, you know, um, it's probably a lot more simple for me to say, but it's really by providing a supportive space for young people. Once again, as I mentioned earlier, to express themselves. Really, really important. Um, you know, um, Not just teens in general, but people in general want to feel safe. They want to have an opportunity to feel safe and to speak about what they want, and be open to various ideas, and learn from one another. Yeah, once you have that safe space, you can express yourself and tackle various issues that are thrown at you.
So, how do you think we can come up with strategies to build a safe space that can be empowering for young individuals and allow them to express themselves for this project?
Um, Definitely a deep dive into an important question. So I would set some goals, and maybe do set up 10 goals, and I've mentioned it throughout our conversation. Promoting inclusivity, really important, right? Encouraging open communication, another important thing. I rattled these off in class a lot, so they're on top of my mind a lot. Or another thing too, addressing bullying, discrimination. These are important things, right? What about offering support services? How can you support one another? So are there times where students need support services? Right behind my classroom is a counseling for various reasons. So these are important things to address mental health issues, because mental health issues are what we discussed earlier. What about, as we discussed, creating physical and emotional safety, right? Modeling behavior, right? So some of these things are super important to, and also, most importantly, is establishing, I guess, a clear expectation. If there aren't clear expectations, how do we move forward, or how do we move anywhere? So uh, you got to reinforce respectful behavior, importantly, right? I guess ensuring that not just students, but everyone in your community, in your immediate community, understands the importance of kindness. Every morning, I say good morning, right? And smile at you. Even if it's just a smile, it speaks volumes. And building trust and respect within your community. It's paramount. You can't move forward without that, right? My travels around the world promote that inclusivity as well. There's so much. I mean, there's so many things I can name. I rattled off a few, but it's all about the community that you live in. Sometimes we feel so individualistic when we have a lot of thoughts on our mind. Sometimes we don't feel people can help us. But believe it or not, there's people who can help, you know? I'm a very individualistic individual. I have a lot of thoughts, and sometimes I feel people might slow down my thoughts. But honestly, I haven't been able to move forward in this world without making a great connection with somebody. And you have to reflect back on those moments, even if it's a short moment. It's important, and that's part of building a sense of community, right? And feeling safe, and someone who modeled positive behavior. So these are some of the things that are really important for, once again, safe spaces and fostering that positive learning environment.
Those are some really great points. Thank you so much for that.
No problem.
So, our three core values are kindness, trust, and respect. Is there anything else that you think TMN should emphasize on for this project?
It's a good one. I was so you said it's kindness, trust, and respect, correct?
Yes, those are our three core values.
And those are great values. But I think additionally, um, highlighting empathy, um, and inclusivity are other two values that can really, which are naturally a part of it. But if you want to highlight some words, empathy and inclusivity uh, would definitely enhance that phrase. It would enhance your project's impact. I don't know, creating positive and supportive environment that, as I mentioned before, these are some of the things that uh, will definitely add to the network.
All right. So, if you were to describe Teens Media Network in just one word, what would it be? And most importantly, why would you choose that word?
It's a good one, but you have any guesses? I said the word a couple. Well, we actually kind of mentioned it earlier, a couple of questions back. It starts with an E. You have any guesses?
Hmm. Empowering.
Yeah, definitely empowerment. Okay, so that word, in my opinion, it encapsulates the essence of your network, right? Of what you're doing. Um, I guess reflecting on empowering young minds to express themselves, to collaborate, and essentially become, I guess, influential leaders through digital storytelling is important.
I don't think I could have put that better myself. Well, those are all the questions that we have for you today. I want to thank you so much, Dr. Wharton, for joining us for TMN Talks. This was a really insightful interview. We really appreciate, your thoughts and your responses, and your any advice that we can get is very valuable. I just want to say, have a fantastic rest of your day, and we look forward to maybe speaking with you again soon.
Looks wonderful. Keep up the great work, and hope to hear from you soon.
All right. Thank you so much.